Welcome back to a Slice of Empathy podcast. Today, we have a very special guest, who's my husband, and we are going to be playing a game called We're Not Really Strangers, Couples Edition, in honor of our 18-year anniversary. So Patrick is new to this podcast, and I'm super excited to maybe do some recordings in the future, but I thought we'd start off by playing this super fun game. As of today, it is Mother's Day, May 12th. Our anniversary was on May 10th, our wedding anniversary, and our together anniversary was on May 7th. So I'm super excited to start this off. All right, so there's 3 levels to this game. The first one is perception, connection, and reflection. So let's start off with doing level 1. So basically, we're each going to ask each other a question. Very simple. What did your friends think about me when we first started dating?
God, that was so long ago. I don't know. My friends liked you. They thought you were nice. I can't think of anything else. It's been so long, being that we've been together for like 18 years.
Okay, that's good. I don't remember if we've ever talked about this before, but that's good to know. Okay, it's your turn.
How important do you think gifts are to me? Explain.
I don't think they're as important to you as they are to me, because I'm the one that has the gift-giving love language. But nonetheless, I still do think that you appreciate gifts when I do give them to you. Is that right?
That would be right.
Okay. What do you think I'd like to do more often with you?
Travel. I'd say traveling's the biggest thing. So, which is why we've gone all over the place, whether it's a cross-country road trip the year after we've gotten married. We've gone to Germany, Switzerland, then Austria, going to Thailand, and Italy. Next year, we plan on doing a Japan and Taiwan trip, and that should be fun.
Yeah.
I would definitely say traveling.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think I'm most sensitive to?
Waiting a long time for stuff. You know, like if we're walking behind some slow people or behind someone who's driving kind of slow.
Yeah, being impatient is... yeah.
Yeah.
Impatient.
That's funny. What do you think my view on marriage is? It's kind of broad. So...
Gosh, that's a good question. Treating each other like equals, love and respect.
Yeah.
You don't want to have one person who does all the work, whether you have kids or not, who does all the cleaning and whatnot. Well, be honest, I hate like vacuuming and sweeping. It's super annoying to me. But I don't mind like doing the dishes, because I guess it's one of those things that even as a kid I've done so long, there's like a certain way of like doing things. And I guess just for couples making it work, you really just need to communicate and make sure just communicating this.
Yeah, I think it's important, especially I know for like a lot of couples when they have kids, and a lot of times like the woman will assume that primary role of caregivers. So I feel like it takes the extra due diligence to kind of like make things more equal, even if it's not always going to be 50-50, just like depending on the day, of course. So yeah, you're right.
What about me most intrigued you before we started dating?
I don't know if I've ever admitted this on here, but I was really attracted to Asian guys, and I could tell right away that you were part Asian. And it's funny because a lot of people don't think that you are part Asian. And so I could tell like immediately. And so I think for me, that was the biggest thing. Did I just ask something?
Just ask.
I just did. Okay.
Well,
you just asked me this, so it's my turn to ask you something. You want me to ask this?
Well, we both answer that.
Okay.
So I asked you.
All right, so this one's a wild card. It says to write it down and compare, but since we're doing this audio-only podcast, I guess we could just share the answers. Between the two of us, who's most likely to make a sleeper event?
That would be Valerie.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
Valerie's very much, we arrive when we arrive.
Yeah.
Or says, I am a little more I guess I know we're tentative about showing up on time, even though for
You're not on Filipino time, huh?
no,
You don't identify with that.
I don't know. But even though for certain people will show up on time and they're not ready, so there is no point in being on time. But yeah, Valerie's very much the we arrive when we arrive, don't wait up.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's yeah, that's accurate.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think is the greatest source of stress for me right now?
Um, Money.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Being that, you know, not just the usual things. Losing overtime because work slows down,
Yeah.
or loss of a job, and when things like summer comes up and your electric bill goes way up because of AC.
Yeah, we have to replace our AC unit because that went kaput. It's a long story, but it kind of sucks because it gets into the double-digit degrees here where we are in Sacramento, and so we were trying to tough that out. So hopefully in the next few weeks we get that fixed. So it's a little bit rough, but we're hanging in there.
What intimidated you most about me early on, if anything?
Honestly, since it's both of our first relationships, I think when I had told you how I felt, I mean, I kind of knew, but at the same time, it was sort of intimidating because we were friends first and we talk about like, well, so and so is attractive or da da da. And so I'm like, part of me like had, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome, where I'm thinking like, part of me is thinking that like, no, maybe he doesn't see me like that. And so it was a pleasant surprise when you did. I mean, not entirely surprising, but when you did say that you felt the same way about me. So what was oh wow, this is some deep territory here. What was the hardest thing for you to understand about me early on?
Well, that's a good question. But sometimes, I guess, when we're not prepared or we haven't addressed issues in our past, it's hard to understand where you're coming from if you're with someone who had maybe a little more dysfunctional childhood versus a very normal childhood in my case.
Yeah.
It kind of takes a lot of empathy and understanding and working through to get past those issues.
Yeah, that's for sure.
What do you think my biggest goal for this year is?
To get a job with the state.
That would be
because we've been talking about this.
We've been talking about this for a while. California is our most populous state, and it is extremely, extremely competitive. And it's frustrating how much you have to apply, interview, and cross your fingers and hope for the best, just because there's so many other people who are looking for something that's stable with job security, better benefits, less likely have to worry about getting laid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the primary thing.
Yeah.
It's just very frustrating.
Yeah, and it's interesting since we were just talking about that. I had a poll pop up in LinkedIn where they were talking about reasons people move on from different jobs. And I think actually one of the biggest reasons it wasn't money, which you'd think for a lot of people, okay, I want more money, but it's generally like more job security and like a lot of like work culture, life balance and stuff like that. So yeah, right now we're in an economy where people want stability over money. So
yep.
What warning would you give yourself about me at the beginning of our relationship? Oh shit. Oh my God.
It's going to be difficult. Admittedly, we didn't have the healthiest relationship when we started, being that we had zero relationship experience between for either of us.
And then I think we all both had each of our like own individual traumas, but different types.
Yeah, different types. My father passed away like 2 weeks before I turned 16, which was like really, really depressing. And then fortunately, I didn't really have that addressed. My mother really should have taken me in and should have had therapy, but I didn't. And I guess, as they say, time heals all wounds. And eventually you just get used to it. And I don't know if get used to it is a correct word, but it just like, as you don't think about it, pain goes away, I guess.
Like time heals.
Time heals.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
What do you think is the main way I show/give love?
Some of these are kind of easy. We have to go to the next deck, but you're for many guys, and of course for you as well. Like your love language is touch, and you like to give hugs and so show physical affection. Yeah, I think that's the way you do it.
Yes.
Yeah. What do I dislike that most people love?
You don't like peppermint.
That's true. That's true.
You don't like peppermint?
Yeah.
I love peppermint.
I never understood it. Like, especially during the holidays, why do people ruin a perfectly good chocolate drink with mint? I don't understand it.
I love mint. Peppermint mocha from Starbucks is good. My favorite ice cream is mint chocolate chip. My daughter doesn't like mint at all, so
No.
I would never be able to share that with her.
It's interesting because, well, I think if it like a natural spearmint, like in toothpaste, it's like okay, but any of the like the candies or like the Crest toothpaste where that has that weird, nasty saccharine taste, I can't stand that nasty artificial mint taste.
My question: what would I most likely be fired for? This would have been easy when I was younger.
Oh, I think we just talked about this recently. Yelling at customers.
Yeah, when I was younger. When Valerie and I met working together at Safeway, I would lose my patience and yell at customers. Just because, if you work with the public, the public is difficult. And sometimes it feels great just to yell back at them. Even though you may get in trouble with management for yelling at them. It's rather gratifying.
Yeah. And then, no, we talked about the time where someone had actually almost ran me over in the parking lot, and I'd muttered something under my breath, and she ran inside to try to kind of like dark me off, but it wasn't actually a manager. She just like aired some grievances to my coworker and ran off. And he's like, "Oh yeah, you owe me one," and I'm like, "Oh man," like, but it's just like I think I don't know. I think working in the service industry is something that everyone should have to endure at least once in their lifetime to understand what service workers go through. Anyway, okay. All right. Now this is the opposite question. What do I love that most people dislike? It was hard even for me to think that.
Oh, shit. That's a good question. You love that most people dislike?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know. I can't.
Yeah,
I can't really think of anything.
I have to think about that one too. So let me ask something else. Okay. Who do you think was more nervous on our first date?
I think you were
Yeah.
more anxious.
I would agree.
Just because maybe you weren't really looking at the time, and then we just happened to click. And then I asked you if you wanted to go to lunch with me, and we did.
Rest was history.
And the rest is history. We've been together for 18 years, married for 16. Yeah. Despite all our, ups and downs of everybody's experiences. Yeah, it's definitely is you. My question, how important do you think birthdays and holidays are to me? Explain.
I think we kind of asked something about this question recently, but do you honestly, I think you're very simple, although like I remember when it was your 40th birthday, I'm like, what do you want to do? And you're just like, do you want something big or do you want something small? And you're like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, that's not, but I think honestly that you're pretty easy to satisfy and like you're not expecting a lot. So yeah, I think probably not nearly as important to me as, of course, my love language is gifts. So I feel like it's a little bit different for you, but you're pretty easy to please, I think.
Yeah.
If our relationship was a Netflix series, what would it be called? What episode are we on?
I don't even watch that much.
I don't even think this is tough.
That's a tough question. I honestly can't really think of anything, but it would be like if I was in this series, it would be like pretty far along. Like if you were thinking something else, it would be on like the 4th or 5th season because we've been together for a long time.
Wow.
I really can't think of a title though, or an episode name.
Okay, that works.
What do you think my perfect date night would be? Describe in detail.
Perfect date night for you? Probably like maybe going to dinner and maybe going to like a movie afterwards.
Yeah, I would
So,
say
right?
so. Italian food.
Italian food, yeah. My true.
Yep.
What was the first thing that you noticed about me that wasn't physical?
You smile a lot.
That's physical.
I mean, well, that's true. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's usually the physical things people notice first. Like,
Yeah.
you smile a lot. Always seem happy. Maybe if you weren't, you just
Okay.
yeah, say a cute personality quirk. Yes. We're always smiling. Non-physical,
Personality wise.
personality-wise, I don't know. Hard worker. You really like strive to better yourself.
Okay.
Whether it's personal or professional.
Mm.
My question, what assumption did you make about me that turned out to be false?
Like early on?
I guess early on.
Honestly, I don't want to say I grew up sheltered because I wasn't, but like I was like my mom would kind of like tell me from a young age that like just be careful with guys, like, and you don't want to like go for a guy that's just like wants to get down your pants kind of thing. And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. And I think that's partially like, oh my God, like what it like, especially like when we went somewhere for the first time, is this guy gonna like kidnap me or something like that? I don't know. And I'm like, yeah. So like, I think not necessarily that I thought that, but like I thought at the time, I'm like, maybe that most guys were like that. And so it was a pleasant surprise that you weren't like that. You're really similar to me and not like you're kind of shy in that aspect.
Yeah.
This is odd. Rate each other's cooking skills on a scale of 1 to 10.
I would give myself,
Well, I think you're supposed to rate me. And I'm supposed to
rate you, I would give you like 9 out of 10. You're a
Okay.
pretty good cook.
Okay.
Well, a lot better cook than I am. Valerie's a foodie. She likes to cook.
Yeah.
I don't like to cook. I will. It's just I prefer things where there's not have a ton of steps. You don't have a whole ton of prep because that just annoys me having to cut up things, chop up stuff, and measure everything out. I prefer to throw things together and just do it quicker. How would you rate
Yeah.
my
Oh, that's tough. I mean, I think it depends on the day. Like, there are some times where you really rock it and hit it out of the park with the presentation, especially. I actually don't really care much about presentation as long as the food tastes good. Maybe like a 6 or a 7 because there are some nights, yeah. And then there's some nights where it just tastes like you put the whole bottle of salt in the food.
Admittedly, I might put in a little too much salt, but I try not to. I just sprinkle here and there. Certain things. Let's see. My question, since that one is wild card, what would a day of completely spoiling me look like?
Of you?
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly? Yeah, it's hard to say. I think honestly, it's just maybe cooking your favorite foods, going to see like maybe a movie or watch some movies at home and just relaxing and not really doing anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's right.
Okay, this is interesting. Did you make any assumptions about me based on my age? And if so, what were they?
Well, it's hard to say. We're both introverted.
But I'm not so much younger than you.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, anyway.
I don't know. I don't really have too many assumptions just because I have similar personality types. It's not like opposites attract where one person's an introvert and the other is an extrovert. I don't really have too many assumptions, I would say.
Yeah.
Let's see. My question, what do you think I'm most sensitive to during a fight or disagreement?
Oh, what you're most sensitive to? Probably criticism. You have to be careful about how I approach that because otherwise, and it's interesting. Like I think I learned from either a therapist or something that I was seeing that when you approach an argument, you want to be like, you did X, Y, and Z, or you're lazy or whatever, rather than like if there's something that's bothering you, approaching it to be like,
We have a little interruption by one of our kitties, Margiano, who wants to play because his brothers are better at the moment.
hi, my baby. Now, what were you saying?
Oh, just what I was most sensitive to.
Yeah, I'll say criticism, but I think when you approach it as to what looking at it, like what's bothering you and communicating into it, that's more like, I would appreciate if maybe you spent more time with me or exercised me or approaching it like that rather than in a way that's going to get the other person on the defense.
Very rather than accusatory.
Do you want to still continue with level 1 or do you want to go level 2?
We can go level 2.
Okay, level 2. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to the level 2, which is connection. What's one small thing that I do that tells you everything you need to know about me?
You think of me?
Okay.
Well, it's usually small things like, I don't know, you'll give me food when you're coming home from work, or you'll give me a drink or whatever. Things like that. It's very thoughtful and typically pretty easy to please. I don't ask for much. My question: what fight of ours do you struggle with most? What felt particularly hard for you about it?
All right, what else is this for me?
It's not the question for you, Marciano.
Oh, this is tough. I think that since it's been so long, that's kind of water under the bridge now, but for a long time, went back in, I think it was probably like 2017 before we started couples therapy. Before we started couples therapy, like we had this big, huge fight, and the catalyst of it was arguing with my brother over the bill and how we were going to split it. And I wanted to kind of write down like what our share was, what his share was, And I think my brother kind of jumped into it. And like he still brings us up to this day. And it became like this whole thing. And I felt like he kind of sided with him, and I didn't feel like I was being unreasonable. And then that kind of escalated, and that bothered me for a long time. But I feel like it's something that we've improved over the years.
Yeah, your brother just doesn't know how to split checks. Make things easy. But that's
hopefully he's not listening.
Is what it is, I guess. In what ways is this relationship unlike? Oh, well, we didn't have any relationship before.
Yeah. Okay. I think it was my turn anyway. What? Okay, so between the two of us, who apologizes first after a fight?
You.
Yeah.
Yeah, admittedly, I'm kind of bad about that.
Yeah.
I've gotten better about it. But yeah, well, that's definitely Valerie. Well, that's a good one. What's one way our relationship has gotten better over time?
I think we're able to communicate things that I'm lucky. Good comments from the peanut gallery here. Okay, I know. I think that we've gotten better with communication and learning a way to not necessarily fight fair, but come back to the conversation later if there's something that we really feel like needs to be addressed, like not in the heat of the moment, but giving it some space and then coming back to address it.
Yep, that's fair.
Yeah. So my turn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's something that we used to do at the beginning of our relationship that you miss the most?
That's a good question. Well, when we were younger, we had less bills. We could go out to eat all the time.
Oh, that's true.
Unfortunately, can't really do. We only do it maybe once or twice a week.
Yeah.
Just because some days we don't feel like cooking, or it's been a long day, it's hot, and you just don't feel like it. It's just easier to order out, and that way the food's all prepared, and you don't have to take all like half hour, 45 minutes to cook something.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. My question: what's the hardest compromise you've had to make in this relationship?
Monkey. Hey, cats. 6 cats. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, that's for me.
Yeah, that was for you.
Oh, well, I'm glad you don't like sports. I think maybe like trying to see movies more. And it's not that I don't like seeing movies. It's just I don't really, I probably don't naturally think, okay, I'm going to go see a movie. Like, so it takes, you know, some recommendation on like your part. And I'm very much like someone who likes to just be in the comfort of their own home watching something. So it's usually like, I feel like that's one of the things of like compromised on because it's not something that I like normally think to do.
Yeah, I prefer
And you like to watch movies constantly.
I like watch movies and see them on the big screen.
Yeah.
It's a more enjoyable experience for me.
Okay. Oh, okay. How have I changed you for the better?
Push me to be better. Let's say an example is going back to school because I did go to school for before I met Valerie, but then like it stopped just because I don't know, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I just ended up taking a break.
Yeah.
And then we ended up going to a local junior college together, and then going to the same college together we did online, which unfortunately they've closed down because of lack of enrollment, which is sad, but I guess it's just a fact of life. Next question: what has your definition of love changed over time, if at all? Or, how has your definition of love changed over time, if at all?
Mikey, don't you? Mikey, it's okay. Honestly, I think like people always tend to say like, oh, the usual kind of cliche, love kind of conquers all. But I really feel like that it takes the effort of both parties to really make things work. I mean, of course, like there's nothing like the feeling of being in love with the person, but as you navigate a number of years together and you go through, it's not always going to be in the honeymoon phase. And I think just, someone sharing your life with someone that, that you really enjoy being with, I think is the most, like one of the most important things, and just having like that, like mutual consideration and respect.
Was it my turn? Or is it? Oh, wait. Yeah, it is your turn.
What's the sexiest thing I do without realizing it?
Great. Oh, you're a great cook.
That's sexy? Okay.
Yeah, that's sexy, I guess.
Good.
I just don't like cooking. I prefer if I didn't have to, I wouldn't. Admittedly, if I was a single bachelor, I would barely cook at all.
Yeah.
Just because I just kind of lazy. Or one day I just rather just like warm up something like a frozen meal or something.
It's okay.
It's my turn.
Yeah.
What compromise have you seen me make in a relationship that you're most grateful for?
Having several cats.
Yeah.
Because you never had a cat? You never had cats?
I never had cats before. Yeah. I grew up with a dog. It was a Sheltie mix. And she went to live with us because my dad passed away before I turned 16. She actually went to live with my dad's fiance, and I think she passed away several years after that. But I never actually had a cat before. And now we actually have a lot. People always laugh. We have 8 cats. Like 2 are my mother-in-law's, the sweetest black cats. And then we have one of them in here who decided to make an appearance. We have 6 of ours. We have 2 older girls who are very grumpy, so they stay in the bedroom most of the time. And then 2 sets of boys who are brothers, and are actual brothers. They're blood related. Macchiato and Mocha, who are pretty big. I think one's 14 and Macchiato is 17. And then the younger 2 actually followed us a mile and a half home. And they stuck around the next day, and I was like, all right, I guess we're keeping you. So that's how I ended up with 8 cats.
When was the last time someone betrayed your trust, and how did that affect your ability to trust today?
I don't think I've ever really had anybody betray my trust.
No, not once. that you can think
Disappointed in
of?
people? Not that I can
Yeah,
think of.
that's true.
Okay, well, this one's a question for you. Finish the sentences. I knew I really liked you when blank. I knew I loved you when blank.
Yeah. Oh, for me to answer about you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a hard question. I knew I really liked you, I think. Oh, when we were like spending time together as friends, and I think for a number of weeks. And of course, this is like that feeling of wanting, of wanting more than just friendship, I think. I think probably within the first few weeks after we spent time together and would do things. I think there was often hints along the way, like when you'd like touch my leg and stuff. Like, this isn't platonic behavior. And then I knew I loved you when probably not too long after that. Like, I don't know, when we were like giving each other hugs goodbye, and I think around that time was when I think I sat you down, so to speak, and then like told you how I felt shortly before that. So I think probably both pretty close together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we do this one?
Let's see. Oh, I'm not good with those.
Did you know that? Okay. What do you overthink most in our relationship, if anything?
Oh shoot, that's a good question. Do I overthink? I don't know. I don't really overthink things. I
No.
don't dwell on things for a really long time, so I just make my decision and roll with it. Maybe that's the impulsive part of me, but I don't really tend to overthink things. I just like, oh, I'll do this, and good or bad. That's my decision.
That's funny.
My question: what did you learn to not take personally with me?
It's still hard, but the impatience with things.
I am rather patient.
What can we laugh at now that once felt so daunting in a relationship?
Oh, I mean, we used to fight over stupid things.
Yeah.
I mean, we were young, having never had any relationship experience. It probably fought over stupid things or
Yeah.
something that can easily have been talked about.
Yeah.
That's all that I can think of.
Okay.
My question: hardest thing for me to reveal about myself to you was blank. Let's see.
Honestly, I think for this, I think it was like unpacking my trauma and looking back. I'm like, I don't know if I should have revealed so much of that so soon, but you're actually like really understanding about it, like the different traumatic things that have happened to me in my life. So I think probably that's it. I mean, I feel like everyone has skeletons in their closet to an extent, but I feel like kind of sometimes where I came from could be a big pill to swallow.
Yeah.
What has this relationship taught you about yourself?
Learn to communicate better.
Yeah.
So out of the biggest issues is more communication or maybe lack of communication. Valerie still gives me a hard time because I am kind of impatient. Because I'm like, let's go, and third of waiting around or whatever. Yeah, it's just communication. Oh, let's see. My question: what's the most romantic thing I've done for you recently?
Yeah, that you've done?
Yeah, that I've done.
Other stuff. I think when you get me flowers or like buy me different things that maybe I'm not thinking about buying for myself.
Yeah.
I think probably it's or when you suggest maybe making certain things for breakfast or for dinner. That's I feel like it's pretty romantic. Yeah, I think honestly just thinking about me. Did you want to switch to the third one?
Yeah, we can switch to the third one.
This is switching to level 3, which is reflection. Let's see what kind of questions I got here. What? Oh, I think we kind of asked this way. What goal would feel best for you to accomplish this year, and how can I support you in that?
Finding the state job, I guess, just because
Yeah.
Job hunting is to be blunt, a pain in the ass. Having to apply constantly and then go and interview and then hopefully things, work out. But when certain things like state jobs where they're really competitive, it's very frustrating to have to do that.
Okay.
That's all right. For my question, what don't I give myself enough credit for?
See, I think probably your willingness to maybe help other people, even though you're very impatient. Like you've helped people out in a way that I think a lot of people would do. So I think probably that, kindness to others.
I would agree.
What about a relationship are you proudest of?
You've come a long way, I guess. Been through a lot of ups and downs, and yeah, I just went through a lot of ups and downs, and now we've come a long way from a little bit of a rocky start, beginning of our relationship,
Yeah.
and we've just recently celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary, so I'd say we're doing okay.
Yeah. What did this conversation teach you at our relationship? I feel like this should be the ending question later. We'll go on a little bit longer, but what did this conversation teach you about a relationship? And what did it teach you about yourself?
That's a good question. Teach me about our relationship. Gosh, being in the ground, but communication is really key to a lasting relationship. Because if you don't communicate properly, things frankly aren't going to work out. Because if you decide things unilaterally in a relationship, that's not going to really bode well. Because then your partner can get pissed off about that, and just making sure you're always on the same page about things, whether it's you want to have kids, you don't want to have kids, how many pets you want to have, where do you want to buy a house, and even just like whether household chores, how are you going to split it, whether it's 50-50, 60-40, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
My question is, thank you for helping me realize blank about myself.
I think you're supposed to figure out, I think that's supposed to be...
Is it me?
I think so.
Thank you for helping me realize.
So you're supposed to find a word to fit in there.
Think about myself.
Yeah, what did you realize about yourself?
Work hard at things if I put my mind to it. I don't really know.
There you go.
Like, yeah, I don't push.
It's okay. What is a lesson about love that you'll take away from this game?
I don't know. It's just learning about each other, even though most of these things we already know.
I feel like we're also reflecting on a lot of these questions.
Reflection. Yeah, reflecting on a lot of past and current things, I guess. I'm not really sure. What question felt most vulnerable for you to answer?
Oh, I think this is good. Probably about the biggest fight thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What question felt most vulnerable for you to ask?
By our biggest fight?
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. What do you find difficult to open up to me about, if anything?
Me?
Yeah.
Honestly, I think for me, it's hard to, if I'm going through something difficult, I feel like I feel like I don't want to like disappoint people. And I feel like it kind of comes from my childhood. So like if something's bothering me, like I think about it and I'm like, I don't know if I really want to, like, if it's going to bother you. I don't know if it's that, but it's just like, I don't want to bother you with something, like if that's bothering me, so sometimes that can be difficult.
Okay.
What answer of mine will you be thinking about when this game is over?
Gosh, that's a good question. I really don't know. I don't dwell on things too much. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's anything I really dwell on.
And what's one thing you'll do differently during our next argument?
Not to be accusatory. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing. Being, you do this, you do that, versus wording it differently.
Yeah.
Anyway, my question: what do you think I struggle to open up about in our relationship.
Oh, for you?
Yeah.
If something's bothering you, I feel like I have to really work hard to pull it out.
Like pulling teeth.
Yeah. What part of my heart do you wish you could heal?
Your past traumas.
Oh my God, that's nice. Yeah.
I would say that.
Yeah.
My question, what's one difference between us that you love? Like something that was very different from you.
It's okay, Maki. It's kind of distracting, this cat. I think your kindness and willingness to help others without really like expecting anything or thinking about anything in return. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably say that because I mean, you do things a lot of people wouldn't do. So I would say that.
Okay.
How would you describe the way I love you to a stranger?
You're very thoughtful. You think about me caring. Sometimes you have trouble showing it.
Yeah.
Very, very thoughtful. Oh, there's a similar question I have, except the opposite. What's one similarity between us that you love?
I really like, I mean, the thing that when we first started dating is I think our mutual interest in like anime and Japan and things like that.
Still hasn't changed.
Yeah.
What?
And reading manga and stuff like that because it's like, it's often like seen as like kind of nerdy. And I don't know a lot of people that, especially like as I've gotten older, that maybe, I mean, a lot of people still do retain that interest, but not always. And so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, especially being that I'm 40 now. Things like anime back in the day, it was just like you had to buy it and hope it was good. Nowadays, with the streaming, it just makes it so much more accessible to just pick up something versus back then, it's just like, oh, well, I hope this is good. And I'd be like, I just wasted $30.
Yeah. And then you're having to worry about buying things that are a bootleg.
That's true.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how vulnerable do you think that I've been in this game?
I don't, gosh, 7 or 8 maybe?
Okay.
My question, how have I changed since we first met? What hasn't changed about me at all?
What hasn't changed about you is you get annoyed easily. What has changed, I think, how do you call it? You're more like self-aware and committed. Not to say that you weren't committed before, but like you're more conscious of like my feelings about different things. And yeah, I'd probably say that.
Okay.
I think it's White River.
Yes.
What is something I'm too hard on myself about?
People pleasing. I think your tendency to always feel like you have to people please, whereas I've grown older and I really don't care as much. It's something that I guess hard on yourself about. It's not so bad anymore where you put up boundaries when like, no, I don't feel like doing something or helping with something or whatever.
Yeah.
My question, what weakness of yours do I help compliment the most?
Oh, my. Okay. I feel like I thought about this recently. Honestly, helping me put things into perspective if I feel like I'm overthinking something and I'm not sure because like as you're talking about like getting caught up in pleasing people or focused on what maybe someone's perception of something might be, I think you really help kind of ground me. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'm going to try to switch this one. Finish the sentence. Thank you for accepting blank about me. Thank you for accepting.
Wait, for me to.
I think it's for me to answer this. Thank you for accepting my past.
Okay. Yes, macchiato. My question, what do you wish we did more of?
I know we do travel a lot, but I wish that we could travel more, have more or less restrictions on obviously jobs and finances and stuff come into play, but I wish we could do more of that. Yeah, I think that's probably the big thing.
Yeah, I would agree. I
Yeah.
mean, if we live somewhere like Europe, where they get like 6 weeks of vacation, or I think the UK is that's 4. Yeah, it'd be well, barring money, it's easier to, have more vacation than just only limited to maybe 2 weeks a year or whatever. Anyway, my question. Oh, wait. Oh, I already asked. Never mind. It's your question.
What's a superpower of mine that I'm unaware of?
I don't know. You're really good cook, I think. Well, I'm not really.
Okay.
Can't really think. Let's see. Finish the sentence. I'm proudest of you for blank.
I think it's supposed to be for you.
Is that for me?
Yeah. It's like just
I'm proudest of you for, I don't know, dressing your traumas in the past.
Yeah.
Being able to work past things from the past.
Yeah. When was the last time you felt lucky to be my significant other? Get specific. All the time doesn't count. It actually says that.
I don't know. I just when you cook for me or you think of me, especially making one of my favorite meals or whatever. I really appreciate that.
Okay.
My question: what could other couples learn from us?
What can other couples learn from us?
Yes.
Honestly, I think I mentioned something similar in one of the last episodes. Is I think that it's not impossible to navigate a relationship that has a lot of trauma. It just takes a lot of work and dedication of both parties, and it's not easy. And I think honestly, the most ideal is if, people are able to address those things ahead of time, but that's not always the case. But just realizing that it may not be easy, but I hope that it gives other people inspiration if you're going through something difficult or something similar, that there could be light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Think of one thing we can do this week to make our relationship stronger. Schedule it now. Well, I've been saying maybe we could go and pick some cherries or something next week.
Yeah.
Never picked cherries before.
No, we haven't. We'll see. Yeah, I guess just scheduling fun things to do, like picking cherries. We've gone and picked raspberries, and I think that so God, I think it was like a per pound, and we ended up paying
it was a lot.
well, like $60. We're expecting to pay that much. My question: what's one thing you'd never change about our relationship? Yes.
I think honestly, one thing I wouldn't change would be the fact that we had a friendship foundation, because I feel like the best relationships are rooted in friendship. So I think that's probably a big thing for me.
Okay.
And then, what do we have in this relationship that you never thought possible?
What do we have in this? I don't know. I guess just being able to travel as much as we had.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun, especially since being able to do it when we were younger. And it just, I don't know, I guess helps you, I guess, just see how things are in like other places, especially if you want to travel internationally. It's just like things can be a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
Well, I guess this is a good question for our final question. What most excites you about our future?
Oh, wow. What a question to end on. I think, honestly, moving to an area that we really love and potentially starting a family there and being able to pursue our dreams to the fullest potential. Honestly, I think, this is probably about 5 years off, and I'm pretty excited for what's coming up ahead. So, I think that would be a good note to end off on. But did you enjoy this conversation?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me know, guys. Hopefully we can have Patrick back on the podcast again for another episode. Thank you all so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if this is something you'd maybe like me to do again. And yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.